night. I was supposed to record this, and I didn't. What ended up happening was my son wanted to watch Netflix, and we went on a cupcake and dino a marathon last night, and I ended up falling asleep. So that's what ended up happening. So, what better time than now to wake up, get some coffee in me? Well, I'm still trying to wake up and continue with on this. So I just figured I'd apologize for that. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get this started. Baby Gregory. It's his story now.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. Reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
It's cute. Sure made him happy. Here we go. That's what I had to do. Whoa. Oh, it's hard to control the frog.
I know how silly it sounds.
Huh?
But I'm worried about a baby being too happy. But I can feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us.
Oh no.
The world he saw.
Oh no, no, come on now. Really? This is what happened?
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything.
No, 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 get to the surface. Oh no, no, there we go.
It wasn't your fault.
Yes, and let's get rid of that water.
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Oh, goodness. Wow. That's horrible. That's why you never leave your
Can't
child
imagine my mom
unattended.
ever writing poetry, and yet
Alright, so tragedy right off the bat here. Oh, let's do Gus's story now. Man, that sucks.
a poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Whoa.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
So the rebellious child.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
So Gus just never wanted to have a new family and just wanted to. He's a loner and stayed out in that storm and got hit by everything, I'm assuming. Try to figure out what the deal with Dawn is, though. Why is this sealed shut?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Hold on a second.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Okay, it's getting stormy out and I'm uncomfortably high here. Alright.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Oh my word, this is like a homeschool place.
But it didn't last.
They even learned history about their own family. Okay. Oh, Dawn Finch. Okay, so she was the teacher.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
There is no, like, date of death on here.
I
So
think
black
Edie
and
was
white.
happy to finally have another painter in the family.
It's all black and white in here. Oh, there we go. Milton. No death, though. Maybe in hopes that he's still alive after the disappearance. I don't know. But let's find out his story.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
And that was it. That was his disappearing act.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Yes, Jose, we went through Gregory's story. You'll have to go to the beginning of the video to see this. Oh, look at the tree's almost done.
Mom
So
spent
maybe-
months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
So maybe Milton just planned on disappearing the whole entire time with that story. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe he's not. I guess we'll just have to find out and continue here.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out. Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
1988 to 2010. So, 22 years old. How am I supposed to...
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely tell how Lewis was. Black lights, legalize posters.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot. He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, here's Lewis's story.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
All right. Come on.
wander.
Imagine doing this all day. What is that?
I asked him to
Oh.
describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And
Trippy.
things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more.
Looks
I
like
worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Token.
Lewis Token.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. and songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something.
That must have been some
Every
good
day
stuff
his
that he had.
imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
St. Louis.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
Sinister serpents. Oh, so you could
sinister
do.
serpents. He followed the sound of her
Silver harp.
silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. We began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
He's not even... He's just going through the motions. He's not even doing anything anymore.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who insisted on advising him.
Yeah, I really like this, this game. It's tragic, though, at the same time.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
No! No, 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 no! I know what this is. That's a guillotine.
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Oh, dear Lord.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
So basically, he just got so wrapped up in just doing the same thing over and over again, he had to like create this whole world just to kind of escape from what he was doing. That's the thing they can guess. Alright, let's see.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
See, it makes sense now. So I actually am Dawn Finch. It didn't take me until fairly recently to figure that out. That's why the bed's not there or anything else, because they packed up and moved.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now was to tell you about that last night.
Oh, goodness. So this is it, huh? Edith. That's what this story is all about. So, let's see.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
No, so I'm not Dawn, I'm Edith. Sorry about that. Dawn is my mom. Well, Edith's mom.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
The old house.
Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine!
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
Wow.
I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
So this is to be the new
I guess
baby.
If you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh, wow. Wow, that was horrible. So this whole story that she was saying passed away the whole entire time. And her kid was reading it. That is crazy. And this is all dedicated to one person, which I don't know if there was a... I wonder if this is like actually... Is this based on a story? An actual story? So like they have the pictures of everybody that was actually involved with it. Never knew what happened to Milton. Wow. That's very much possible, Seeker. That's what happened. But I just can't believe it. It's just this story itself is so good that yeah, I definitely I definitely give this all the way thumbs up on this one. This was definitely well worth the 3-part series in this. Completely. You got to give it up for everybody that got into this game and made the game and created the game. Aw. So, definitely go check out the other two if you have not, which I'm hopefully you actually watch this in order. But if you like the series, give all 3 of these videos a big ol' like. Yeah, it's a great story. A great tragic story with many secrets. It's just really crazy to, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It was nuts. Trick or treat, smell my feet, huh? The end. Oh, I totally agree. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. Wow, okay, so you can actually go through this whole thing again. I'm guessing to, I don't know if anything's going to change with that. But, like I said, once again, very outstanding game. There's the whole family tree right there. Each with their own deep, tragic story as far as what happened. But, very, very awesome. And it all started with Odin and his curse. And I guess it's true. Everyone had their curse. Well, thank you for watching. I got some morning stuff to do here, but really, really, really awesome. I love it, love it, love it all the way. If you are new to this channel, please hit subscribe and we can keep going with cool games like this. I got some new games also, so I'll probably be doing some gameplay on that. And also, I will be on Twitch later. I'll see you all very soon.